Yo, but you said something I want to touch on. You was talking about the cardinal sin of hip hop back then. Times have really changed because back then, if you sounded like somebody, if you remotely sounded like somebody, you'd have got punched in your face.
Right.
The fans didn't want nothing to do with you.
Yes.
Whoever you sounded like, they had beef with you.
Or if your name, if you tried to take a name, if you called yourself Nora, and then we got Nori, we slapping you because, come on, it's too close. Stop. Get out of here. Like, no.
And because of that, it pushed creativity forward. It made you be creative.
Yes.
Because you knew coming into this thing, damn, this sounds too similar to her. Or, you know what? The way I wrote that verse and the way I'm spitting it sounds too close to the way he spit his. You had to be creative, and that's why it's called that golden era, because everybody was forced to be an individual. And what's so crazy is now times have changed. You almost can't get a deal if you don't sound like somebody.
Right.
Is that the most ironic thing in the world?
It's really, really strange to me. As I listen to, and I want to just big up all of my female artists because y'all are doing y'all thing right now. It's like the female artist era. You know what I'm saying? The hottie era. But let's switch it up, ladies. Go ahead and get your individuality out there because if Megan Thee Stallion is going, Lotto, I don't need to hear you going like that's Megan's thing. You know what I'm saying? If whatever, Nicki Minaj do, Cardi, I don't need you to do that. Or Cardi, you got your own, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's just, we know people for stuff. Jada for the hat. If anybody else do that, it's gonna be a problem. Am I right or am I right?
It is so real. But honestly, if it wasn't for that era, I don't know, if it wasn't for, because that's where it all exploded.
Yeah.
So shout to the founders.
Absolutely.
But if you're coming into the 90s and early 2000s, that's where it really exploded. That's where the money started getting real good.
Money started coming in, yes.
But it was all because you were forced, like literally forced, to be original and to be creative.
I remember Akinyele paying me $5,000 to show up at a strip club and stand on the side until he does Put It In Your Mouth. And I come up and just do my verse and walk back off.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The money was good back then. The money was good back then.
I remember one week, Jay-Z was at... what's the spot down in almost in the village? Almost in the village, the big spot. Well, Jay-Z was at a big joint.
That ain't Webster Hall.
Huh? Yes.
Webster Hall?
Yes.
Okay.
Jay-Z was at Webster Hall one week, and he flooded it, right? Because he was Jay-Z doing his thing. But the following week, we tripled the people that came out.
Are you serious?
Yo, Put It In Your Mouth was a movement, and it's crazy how the song is its own, like, thing now even. It's like it's got a cult following.
No, it does. It does. And it is so much of a hip hop classic, especially if you're a hip hop purist. I gotta ask you, please tell me you got some publishing on that record.
So I own 40% of Put It In Your Mouth by myself.
Get out of here. You own 40% of that record?
I'm gonna tell you why. So Akinyele, like I said, Ak was, just getting into the hip hop and stuff, right? And he had done a few like features on different things when he got the situation with Loud Records. So when he did the Put It In Your Mouth, he didn't know about publishing. And because I asked him, I said, okay, so when we went in the studio, I was like, all right, I'm professional. So I had like paperwork, my little publishing document, like, okay, what's the split's gonna be on this? And blah, blah, blah. He was like, what you mean? I was like, publishing. He's like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm glad you told me about it. I was like, yeah. He was like, well, look, you take 40% and we'll split the rest. And that's how that went. So, of course, we had to give the sample, you know what I'm saying, some money. But after that, I get 40 and they own the rest.
The rest of it. So the 60% they split.
They split that with the,
So I ain't getting in your business, but let's let's just say that song's been good to you because
Yes.
Jay-Z done quoted lyrics from it, J. Cole, Big Pun, Redman. Like that song, every time somebody either samples it, uses a part of it, uses a quote from it, you catching a check.
So I'm gonna use just that right there, and I'm gonna send that to Jay-Z and Missy because they did not pay me. Jay-Z and Missy still owe me money for that 1 Minute Man. Big Pun's estate, R.I.P. You still owe me money, okay?
Okay,
I say
girl.
Big Pun's estate, you still owe me money, you know? Shout out to everybody that paid me. J. Cole called me and cleared it with me directly. He called my phone. Yeah, shout out.
He literally called you.
He called my phone in 2014 and was like, hey, is this Kia Jeffries? This is J. Cole. I was like, nah. So that's my son's favorite rapper. My son is 24. So, you know, that at the time, that was my son's favorite rapper. Probably still is, you know? So, yeah,
Wow.
it's wonderful. You know, it's a great feeling. I'm still chasing old money. You know what I mean? So when them old checks come in, thanks to this, thank you, Vlad. Gonna get this money. I'm gonna give y'all a little finder's fee just for saying that, Shawn. I appreciate you.
Okay. The 90s again, it was good for you. 1998, if I got my facts right, Forecast, the group Forecast.
Yes, yes.
You're in a new group at this time. Called Forecast, and y'all at some point, even before I go further into the conversation, wasn't at some point, if my memory serves me correct, y'all were managed by Barry Hankinson?
Yes, we were. We were assigned to Barry Hankinson for a hot minute. That group Forecast. We knew him. You know, shout out to Larry Rudolph, my attorney.
Okay.
He was my attorney for many, many years in New York, and he was very good friends with Barry. You know, Barry managed Tony Braxton. I don't know if people know that. He was married to Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight.
You know,
Gladys Knight.
which is crazy. So yeah, he was
he
that
got
dude.
3 kids with Gladys,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, Barry Hankinson.
For anybody who don't know who Barry Hankinson is, he's the owner of or the founder owner of Black Ground Records. Aaliyah, that's her uncle, actually.
Aaliyah's uncle. That was Aaliyah's uncle. Yeah, so, you know, he was that dude. You know, people, you know, our age group, you know, they're like, yes, you know.
Exactly.
But we educated the young people. But yes, yeah, Barry was a wonderful influence. And, you know, he released us because we were signing a different situation. And he knew that he couldn't really be, you know, as hands-on because he had so many other things going on. So, yeah, you know, we out here.
Okay, so y'all release one album,
Yes.
Any Weather.
Yes.
Album comes out, does moderately well, and then the group breaks up. I gotta ask you why, and I ask you this because it always seems like, especially female groups, they can't seem to stay together for a long time. And granted, there are some that have.
Right.
I mean, you right in the middle of when female groups was blowing.
up.
You had In Vogue out there,
Yeah.
Brownstone,
SWV.
Changing Faces, SWV. They was all, matter of fact, that was the early days of even Destiny's Child was
Yes.
on their way up back then.
Yeah.
So why is it so hard for female groups to stay together?
You know, just like it's hard for women to get along in a way. It's a lot of competition, you know, underlying, you know, even though we do all want success, you know, there's kind of jockeying for position sometimes. But with the group Forecast, I'll just say, you know, my pregnancy, meeting my husband and my pregnancy could have had better timing, right? But at the same time, we were able to incorporate my pregnancy into the theme of the first video, because as you see, I was big pregnant in that Miss My Lovin' video. You know, so we could have worked out, but you know, there was an issue with me and one of the girls, like a kind of a big issue, and it got bigger once I, you know, decided to have a baby, and you know, she felt it was in the way, and we could have worked it out because actually they offered us a second album. And
Oh.
and artists, please don't do this. These girls turned it down, y'all, because they was mad. And that's why, you know, I don't know. I was never going to stop. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. You know what I mean? But I've been doing that before a group, so I'm going to do it after a group too, you know? But it was like, you know, they was a little salty, you know? And I don't know why, because guess what? I got a publishing deal because I already had music out there. I already had to put it in your mouth and a couple of other things. I had said, R.I.P. to Biz Markie. You know, I sang on the B.I.Z. It's the B.I.Z. and everything. So I had checks. I had publishing. I had already getting royalties from my vocals, just my, you know.
Yep.
So I was offered a $100,000 publishing deal. And I said to myself and my husband, hey, I don't want to get this money. And these girls looking at me like, oh, she got money, we didn't get no money. You know, even though they had never written anything. But I, you know, basically enticed my publishing company to give them $100,000 to split. And they did that on my face card. And these girls were still mad at me, you know?
You know, you may have just answered the question that I was trying to ask without even realizing it. Girls, they're emotional.
Yeah.
And, you know, you said because they were angry, because they were mad. What does that have to do with business? When you say I got a dream, this is my love, this is something I want to do with my life, so what if you mad?
Right.
Do the job.
Right.
So if they offered y'all another album and the girls turned it down because they was mad, that to me, you didn't love this thing in the first place. You couldn't have loved it because your emotion should never stand in the way of the business.
I agree. And that was a hard lesson to learn even for me. You know, I feel like I probably could have handled things better as the, you know, leader, maybe, you know. I might have let my emotions, because I kind of was like, well, damn, what what more can I do for you bitches? You know, I was of that mindset in the back of my mind. I didn't want, you know, I wasn't saying that, but I know my facial expression might have said that because I'm like, I don't know what else to do for y'all, you know? So, you know, and then I ended up just, you know, kind of focusing on my son, raising my son and stuff, and, you know, dealing with my crazy marriage, you know?